What it do, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I have a very exciting video today, and I am going to be showcasing the Odens Solmane 2 collection. Now, I picked up every last product that I have today with my own money, and I picked it up after watching a variety of videos. And originally I was not going to pick this up, mainly because I just didn't have the money, and also because they did not have any person of my depth or my complexion on YouTube seemingly showcasing this collection. I searched and scoured the YouTube market. I couldn't find any. I did find a couple on Instagram, but I decided I would at least do a video, even if nobody watches it, to show that representation that people of my skin tone and deeper are actually interested in these indie brands. So I picked up quite a bit of products, not a lot. I mean, like I said, I paid this with my own money, but I did pick up a couple of things that I thought would actually add some benefit to me. This is how I got this look today. This is look number 1. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to kind of sit down and talk to you guys a little bit about all of the packaging, all of the products, all of that stuff, and then we will go into the swatches. I will do overhead live swatches for you all today. I will also try to do any comparisons that I can find, and then we will go into the tutorials. So this will be an extremely long video. Check out the timestamps down below. They will be really helpful in the event that you only want to see one particular part. So let's get into the product details. Okay, so like I said, I picked this up with my own money, and it was really nice how it came. So I picked this up on launch, and they came to me in about 2.5 or so weeks. So not super long, but in the makeup world, especially on YouTube or any social media, it is quite long. Anyways, I picked up the eyeshadow palette, and it has a 36-month shelf life. It is cruelty free, and it is recycling. As you can see in the demonstration, this, along with every product that I got in my bundle, was shrink wrapped. So I really appreciate that. That shows that nobody messed with the products after they were manufactured at the lot. And yeah, really pretty palette. There are 8 mattes and 7 shimmers. I really like the variety and the diversity of those shades that are provided in this palette, and as always, the packaging is top notch. Then I also picked up the mirror. I will be using these in both of the tutorials, so you'll be seeing like the usage. I tend to stick with the 1x mirror, or the normal mirror. The 3x magnification, honestly, is just a bit more than your girl bargained for. I really don't particularly enjoy that, but at the same time, in the event that you are somebody who does a lot of detailed work or artistry, that 3x magnification could be super helpful. Then I picked up both 2 highlighters and 2 blushes. Now, this was the biggest part of the range, and I was super excited about all of the products, really, and I wish I would have been able to afford to pick up the whole collection just to showcase it for you guys, but I just could not afford it. Now, the packaging is spectacular, very similar to what everybody is saying. It is that beautiful like double packaged product. It kind of looks like a medallion. Like if you watch any ancient quote-unquote K-dramas or Asian dramas, you'll know that sometimes people had like medallions very similar to like this front packaging. It looks very cool. Obviously the actual design is different, but like the concept was similar. So I really like the packaging. I like how the sticker on the back kind of gives you a representation of what the shade basically looks like, and I just really like that. The embossing is really nice as well, regardless of if it's the highlighter or the blushes. I do kind of wish that they had even deeper shades presented in these collections, specifically the blushes, but we'll see how they show up on my complexion, and we will see if I really enjoy the blushes. I think the highlighter range was decent. It definitely could have been darker, but because they were going for this kind of ethereal type range, I don't think to go darker would have fit with the range. Whereas I do think you could have been a little bit more ethereal and still stuck with this kind of concept that they have for this overall collection. The last two products that I picked up from this range, I don't have any B-roll, so you guys get to see my sparkling face right now. And I picked up two eyeliners. One is in 011 and the other is in 006. I picked up these two shades because these are unique to my collection. I don't believe I picked this up, but this was in my order, and this is like a double-sided brush. So one side I would assume they wanted people to use for blush, and the other side I assumed they wanted people to use as highlighter. I actually used both sides in my first tutorial, and I'll probably do the exact same in the next tutorial. And yeah, the fibers are very, very soft. It does feel synthetic fibery though, and I would not say that this is this type of synthetic fibers that pick up a lot of product. So in the highlighters, there's 11 grams of product and 36-month shelf life with it being cruelty free. In the blushes, there is 10 grams of product. It is a 36-month shelf life and it is cruelty free. Yeah, that's that. Let's get into the overhead swatches, like I said, and then we'll get into even some more stuff later on. So I figured let's start off with the easiest thing that I can swatch first, and this is the Odens eyeliners. Now I picked up two liners. Both are unique to my makeup collection. I picked up 011 and 006. The 011 is the white, the 006 is the more sagey color. And okay, so this is the 011. There it is, it's the white. And the sage. I find that the sage pulls a little bit darker in my waterline, but it's pretty much dead on to what you've seen, and you will see me actually apply both liners in the first two looks, and the third look I use a different liner from my collection. So those are the two liners. Yeah, let me clean off my hand and we'll swatch some more stuff. Alrighty. So these are the highlighters. As you can see, they have really, really pretty packaging, something that I'm sure I've detailed time and time again. I don't even know if my camera will focus. There we go. Very, very beautiful detailing there. And very, very generic but beautiful detailing here, especially for the scent that they gave you a shade that it's going to be similar to as the sticker. So I have the shade Warm Sunshine, which is this one right here, and then I also have Rose Sky, which is this one right here. So like I said, this is Warm Sunshine and this is Rose Sky, and I'm just going to swatch them both on the back of my hand. The embossing on both of these are really, really pretty, and from what I can tell, they're pretty much the same embossing, just different colors obviously for the different shades. I'm just going to do two swatches for both, and then I'll come in close so that you guys can see the shades on my complexion. Alrighty, so these are the two shades. The one up here is Warm Sunshine. It is more of a yellow highlighter, which is super unique, but it's yellow to like an orangey red. And then this one is more of a pinky purple. Both are, well, this pinky purple is more of a shade that I have a lot of in my collection and I just enjoy, and the yellow red one is super unique. The only other red one I can think of is a white to red, and there's no real yellow gold in there. Super, super unique. As always, I have natural lighting over here and then just one ceiling light on when I do my swatches. I don't know if you guys will be able to see the shifts on my hand, but you will definitely be able to see the shifts in the looks. I made sure to kind of move my head around enough, hopefully, so that you guys can see it. So yeah, like I said, this one is Warm Sunshine, which is right here, and this one is Rose Sky, which is up here. So very, very pretty shades. And yeah, I will wipe off my hand and I will swatch the two blush shades that I picked up. Alrighty, so these are the two blush shades. The packaging is very reminiscent of the highlighter shades. The only difference is that the outer coating is more of an orange and not that purple. Very similar background as well back here, where it shows you if it is a matte or a shimmer based on like this ombre type effect situation. So Peach Gleam is the one kind of more shimmery shade that I got, and then this one is Orange Sunny, and since it's like a solid color and this background, you know it is the matte formulation, and like I said, Orange Sunny. So let me just go ahead and swatch them like I swatched the highlighters. Alrighty, so I swatched both of them in the more appropriate spot on my hand so it's easier for you all. This one is Peach Gleam and this one is Orange Sunny. As you can see, Peach Gleam is clearly darker than Orange Sunny, and I believe I picked up the two corresponding deepest shades in both ranges, which is why I picked these both up. And as you can see, the more shimmery, satiny formula definitely runs deeper than the matte. I really wish they had a deeper version of this formula, but I believe this is the deepest, and that's why I picked her up. So yeah, once again, this is the Peach Glow and this is Orange Sunny. Really pretty shades, and you guys will see how they fare on my actual face in the tutorials. Alrighty, so since we are down to the eyeshadow palette, I will actually switch to swatching on the back of my arm because there's more shades. I will also say all of the names of the shades, everything that I typically do. But once again, this is spectacular packaging. You get like the slight highlights in the area to kind of show the accent. And it is kind of that textured finish, both in the front and the back. If you've picked up any of their more recent palettes, you'll know what I mean by this textured finish situation. There is a mirror in this, as well as there were mirrors in all of the highlighters and the blushes. And this is the palette. I'm just going to scoot it to the very edge so I have room to put my arm. All right, so I zoomed out a little bit more so it's just easier for you all, and I'm just going to do row by row by row like I typically do. So first we have Soft Cloud. Next we have Mercury. Then we have Neptune. Next we have Deep Space. And last in this row we have Nebula, which is very intriguing that they chose this shade, as that was the name of the Angelica Nyquist collaboration palette that she did with this brand. Or was it with Caladios? It was actually with Caladios. So yeah, anyways, that's the first row. Next we have Meteor. Then we have Dream. Next we have Starry Sky. Two more left in this row. We have Galaxy. Last in this row we have Hallucinations. Alrighty, now going into the last row, we start off with Warm Light. Then next we have Sunlight. Then we have Solar. And last two in this palette, we have Eternal and last in this palette, we have Black Hole. So this is the full palette swatched on my arm. As I said earlier, I have natural lighting over here and then just a ceiling light over there. So that is all the lighting I have on my arm. Alrighty, so what I'm gonna do is just dig through my collection to see if there's anything that I think would be helpful to compare for you all. And when I find the stuff that I have in mind, I will come back to show you guys those comparison swatches. Okay, as I mentioned before, the liners were unique to my collection, so there was no point in shopping my stash to find dupes of these because I literally did not have any. But let's start off with the blushes. So for the blushes, I do quite heavily love orangey blushes, specifically orangey shimmering blushes. So this is the more shimmery of the two, but I figured since I had both, I would swatch them both and compare them shimmeriness into a couple of different formulas. So bear with me, it's more about the formulation on this one than actually tone or color. So first I wanted to actually compare it to my Colored Rain and Power collaboration duo, which is called Call the Shots. So as you can see, this is the duo, this is the more like shimmery satin, and this is the kind of real full-on shimmer that you can use as a blush topper or as a blush or as a highlighter depending on your skin tone. So I figured this would be really good comparison, specifically this side, although I'm sure I could compare both, but in terms of the more satin formula and stuff, I figured this would be it. And let's just swatch her against this one, which is Peach Gleam. So you see how even though Peach Gleam was the darkest of the two, Call the Shots blush is so much richer. And because of that, on my complexion, I find that the sheen just pops off my skin a little bit better. And overall, I don't have to really fight to get the amount of pigment that I prefer. And then just for sheer, comparison's sake, this is the orange tone, which as it states is a lot more orangey in tone, and this one is a lot more peachy in tone. This one pulls a lot more pinky, but it actually is a coral blush duo from what I remember the description. So yeah, this is the Colored Rain, this is the Peach Gleam, and this is the Orange Sunny. As you can see, clearly different, but I find that because this one is darker and just richer overall in pigment and in tone, it just pulls more of the actual true pigmentation level, the true finish, and just appears better on my skin tone. So the only other blush duo blush product that I had that I thought could be somewhat helpful in these comparison swatches is from MAC, and this is Flirting with Danger. This is in their mineralized blush finish, which is more of like a sheeny kind of natural finish. So that's why I picked her up. And this definitely is more of a truer orange, or at least it feels like it when I apply it on my skin. And Once again, you can see it's on that same depth level as the colored Rain. And although it may not look as bright orangey as these two are, which it's not, it's enough depth that on my skin tone, it looks like a true orange. So yeah, I just figured I'd show you guys the kind of two oranges that I kind of most likely will actually reach for over these two oranges, just in hopes that if you are of my complexion, you kind of, if you have these same shades, you can kind of see what you would be getting into if you pick up these two blushes, or pretty much any blushes in this collection, as these two are the deepest in both ranges. So that's it for the blushes. Let me clean off my hand and then we will get into the highlighters. Alrighty, so once again I picked up the two highlighters in Warm Sunshine and Rose Sky, and I found one shade that I think might be helpful for both. So yeah, that shows how unique these are in my collection, and these are actually two formulas that I really do enjoy. So for the Rose Sky collection, let me swatch that really quickly, or the Rose Sky shade. This is her. She's nice and smooth metallic, but there is soft amount of glitter thrown throughout, but it doesn't look like the glitter that would be just like too much. I'm going to compare this against my JD Glow Chaos highlighter. So as you can see, this was clearly a favorite at one point. I even hit pan. This is a lot different of a formula. It's a lot, I wouldn't say chunky, but there's a lot more glitter and you really have to smooth this along your face. But once you do, it gives a beautiful kind of glass-like finish. So they are different in that, but I think the shifts are super similar. And it's just a matter of if you want a more metallic finish or you want one that's kind of more shimmery, glittery, that you can blend into your skin to get more of a glass cheek type situation. Both are really pretty. If you want one with a deeper base, I would definitely go with the the Odens Eye, because the JD Glow definitely has a lighter base. But overall, two very good highlighter formulas, and I like them both. Then with the, what is this one called again? With the Warm Sunshine, I wanted to compare that actually to a Caladios highlighter. So I could remember that I had one highlighter that had a yellowy base, but couldn't remember which one. So this is the yellow to like red base that I was telling you guys about. And this is Mars Melter from Caladios. Now I can't remember if this actually shifts. Yeah, it does, but it also has blue in there. So it definitely has that yellow base, but it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. Let me see. Let me go back into my collection because I feel like I have one that's even similar. It just might be a single pan and not in like a compact like this. Give me 1 second. Let me check again. Okay, I knew I had some that were even closer. So like I said, this is Mars Melter and this is Warm Sunshine, but I do have some that are more similar to Warm Sunshine. This, unfortunately, I don't have the name of it, but I guess I depotted it from some palette. Oh gosh, that's unfortunate. But this is pretty much the closest of the two, which really sucks. And yeah, like I said, there is absolutely no name on the back of that, so I can't help you. But this is Anxious, and I want to say this is from Kristen Lee Cosmetics, I want to say, and I'm pretty sure it is. And this once again is a very similar. The only difference between this one and the Odens Eye is the Odens Eye feels a lot smoother, whereas this one feels a lot more powdery, and I would say the reflect is a lot stronger on the Kristen Lee one than on the Odens Eye. So if I had to say like a recommendation, I would actually go ahead and recommend the Odens Eye over this one. And then between these two, it's a little bit more hard for me. It just truly depends on preference. So yeah, I'm hopeful that these swatches help somehow. Sorry, I thought I had something that was a little bit better, but clearly I do not, which is good. That means that these are both unique and they were actually warranted to join my collection. So those are all of the comparisons that I have for you guys today. Now let's just go ahead and get into the tutorials, and then like I said at the end, we will wrap this whole baby up with my overall thoughts currently on this collection and whether I would recommend certain parts, all of it, or anything in between. So yeah, let's get to tutorial number 1. So I definitely lied to you, my bad. I meant to show you guys comparisons between my whole collection of Oden's Eye in the event that you have quite the collection like I do and you wanted to see if this palette provided any different shades. So up top is going to always be the Solmane 2 eyeshadow palette. So down here, first I want to show the Norns palette, and for me, you have a similar black, but actually the Norns palette black is actually shimmery where this one isn't. And pretty much every other shade I think is pretty unique, except for maybe Glimmer and Sunlight. So let's go ahead and swatch those. So this is Sunlight and this is Glimmer, which they're two different textures. Glimmer you can see is more glittery, whereas Sunlight is more metallic. So overall, I would say if this is the only Oden's Eye one that you have, maybe it could be helpful to bring that one in. Then we have the Norns palette, and as you can see, the Norns palette is quite small, compact, curated, and I would say that there is absolutely no shades in between these two that are similar. So yeah, that's that. Next we have the Hummingbird palette, which is their collaboration between Tina the Fancy Face and themselves, Oden's Eye. And Lagoon and Nebula are actually two different depths, so I don't feel the need to swatch those. And I would say I really don't see any comparisons. I don't see anything similar. I think that these could be companion palettes, but I don't see anything similar in person. Then we have the Giant Wolves palette, which is their collaboration between Annette's Makeup Corner and themselves. And let's see, maybe the blacks are the similar, but I mean, a black is a black, right? Let's see. I don't see anything else in person that looks very similar at all. So once again, we're just going to go ahead and continue to pass. And then the last palette that I actually have, I still have the sleeve, funny enough. And this is the Hella palette between Oden's Eye and Angelica Nyquist. And this collection, once again, I just don't see anything similar. Yeah, I don't. So yeah, this is my collection of Oden's Eye palettes. And if you are similar to me in the collection that you have, and or if you only have one or two of these, I think it would not be something where you're literally buying the same shade from the same brand. That said, I don't know the rest of your collection, so you may have the exact same palette from a different brand, but I like to kind of stick with the same brand in the event that like Oden's Eye has your favorite formula and you just want to stick with them instead of, you know, maybe getting a very similar color scheme from a different brand. So I hope this part is helpful. Okay, now I really am done, and now we really will go to the first tutorial. Guys, so I am extremely excited, as I'm sure you guys could feel off of my intro. Today we are going to be diving into some of the Oden's Eye goodies. So I did go ahead and just kind of unpack them here. In the intro, you guys would have seen product shots, filming, all of that. So I'm not going to dive into it. We are just going to look at them because I just did some filming of the actual products. I didn't even take the time to stop and look at them myself. So right now I want to choose my blush, and both of the blushes that I picked up are the orangey ones. You guys already know this. Why do I always feel the need to repeat myself from what is going to already be said? Let's go with the shimmery one today. So this is in the shade Peach Gleam. And for the sheer fact that this was in my order, I'm just going to use the brush that they put in. I don't know if I got it because I ordered a certain amount. I don't really know, but this was in my order. So we're gonna see how she goes. This has a very, very subtle coloring, at least on my skin tone, with quite a bit of that shimmer. You can definitely see it, but you can see that it's subtle. It's not as apparent as I would have hoped. I have a blush from this brand. I'm sure I would have talked about it in my comparisons and stuff at the beginning, but yeah, that's that. Thankfully, that part is an overspray. I don't think this has any more like sheen under it. So actually, to make my cheeks look similar, I'm just gonna kind of go over some of it with a little bit of the sheen that is left, just so that we're similar, you know? I think it's fine. Not revolutionary on my skin tone. It looked revolutionary on people who were lighter, but on my skin tone, it takes quite a bit of building up. And yeah. Okay, next we have the two highlighters. So let me look at them first, because I haven't even looked at them. This is Warm Sunshine, and this is Rose Sky. This looks to be more purpley. This looks to have more of an orangey situation. I think this also is like yellow to orange. That's why I picked her up. So I'm gonna use this one. I'm more intrigued about this one, and I guess I'll use this other side. I've never used a brush like this for highlighter. I don't even know if this was meant for highlighter, but we'll try it. Oop. Okay, that is giving me a very harsh highlighter, but that is a beautiful shade. Good gracious. It's very smooth. You can see the shade on my lip now. Extremely smooth, but good Manetti. This is a powerful highlighter. I'm just gonna try and blend it out on my cheeks. Yeah, that's really, really pretty. I like it. The brush is okay. If it's not thrown in your order, honestly, I wouldn't say go for it. And I've already started to forget to use the mirror, per usual. I think everything's looking decent so far. If you want to know what's on my base, just check out down below. I will have that information down there. So let's get into the meat and potatoes. This is the one part that I'm sure you guys all wanted to actually see. And I'm going to prime my eyes today with my Natasha Denona eyeshadow base. This is in the shade Medium. This is what the palette looks like. I have been envisioning different combinations since I've seen it on other people, so I'm extremely excited, and we are just going to dive right on in. I just need a clean blending brush. Okay, I'm going to start off with the Refer 14, and first I'm going to go into the shade Warm Light, and I am just going to focus this in my inner half of my crease, and I am just going to start using this mirror just so I can get a sense of whether I like doing my makeup with this, and also whether it's easier for you guys to see in my tutorial. I'm not zoomed in. There we go. This is looking really, really good so far. Excellent pigmentation, very much feeling like the Odens eye formula that I have come to be used to. Next, I'm going to take the Refer 18, the Wayne Goss 18, and I want to see what Neptune looks like on my eyes. I do want to just note that I have not swatched these on my skin tone, so I don't know what any of these products look like when I'm doing my tutorials right now. So I didn't really have any basis to know how any of this was going to apply, appear, any of that. So that shade applied slightly darker than I was expecting, but nothing really terrible about that. Pretty good. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. Okay, so I'm gonna go into yet another brush. This is a ColourPop E9, and I think I'm gonna deepen out my outer V, which is kind of typical for me. I don't want it to go too deep though, but I always say that, and it always seems to happen. So we'll see. I think I'm going to take a little bit of, what is this? Galaxy. I'm going to take a little bit of that in my outer V with this ColourPop brush. This particular shade had a bit more kick up than the other two that I've used so far. Just to make you guys aware, it does not bother me. And I don't think that's a bad thing by any means, but in the event that it is important to you, for you to know, I wanted to make you guys aware of that. I just went ahead and blended out my lower lash line with a little bit of Neptune, and I also did take some of Galaxy. Like I said, those two are just slightly a little bit more powdery than I found Warm Light to be, but overall there's nothing alarming at all. Now I want to do my lid shade, and Deep Space is where is it? Deep Space is calling to me, but it's more of a blue. We could do that, and then a little bit of maybe Meteor in the middle. So I'm just going to use my fingers. I do tend to just do that, and we're going to go into Deep Space. And like I said, I'm just going to apply that on my lid. Okay, that applied really nicely. I'm very happy with that application. For my inner corner though, I am just going to reach into a brush. This is a Eddie Funkhauser, I believe pencil brush is the name of it. And then I'm going to go into, like I said, Meteor, and just put that in my inner corner. This is nice. This is very nice. I'm really loving this look. So I'm going to hop off camera. I'm going to add liner, mascara. I may throw on some lashes. I also need to figure out what I'm going to put on my lips really quickly. And I'm going to come back to show you guys my first finished look. So I came back because I completely spaced, and I have two liners. So I bought their 006 liner and 001. The 006 is like a green sage, and the 01 is like a white. I think for this look, I'm gonna actually go in with the white. I don't have a white liner in my collection, so I wanted to get a unique shade. Okay, definitely don't see anything, but I do see product on the pencil. So let's clean my waterline. Okay, I'm also going to just kind of wipe off that excess, maybe warm up the product on the back of my hand. And let's try again. Yeah, that's not. I mean, it's not terrible. You can see something now, but it's not the best liner I've had. Alrighty guys, so this is the finished look. I'm happy to have done my first look. I do aim to do at least 2 looks in this video. That way you guys can see at least a little variety in color schemes and eye tutorials that you can create with this palette. But I also don't want this video to be too long. So that's all I'm going to say for wrapping up of this look. Let's get into look number 2. Hey guys, so this is the second look. Very excited. I did already do one eye, but we're going to go ahead and do my cheeks very quickly. So I'm pretty sure I used Peach Gleam yesterday. Yep, I did use Peach Gleam. So let's go ahead and use Orange Sunny today. I'm just going to apply her to my cheeks. Yesterday I used Warm Sunshine. So today I'm going to use Rose Sky, which is more of a pinky purpley highlighter. And now that I actually know how to use this brush, it should go over a little bit better. I've already primed my eye and I just want to kind of dive in. Let me see, did my primer creased a little bit, and this is the Natasha Denona eyeshadow base in medium. Okay, so for the first for my crease shade today, I'm going to use the shade Solar, and I'm going to be using my ColourPop E9 brush. Now this is going to be the only shade that is really going to be in my crease. I do have another shade that I deepened up. Okay, so really easy crease, nothing crazy at all. I didn't want to do a crazy look today, and this actually went further than I wanted it to, but overall I think it came out really pretty. Okay, then I'm going to use a Wayne Goss 18 with the shade Nebula right here. And I'm going to use just a bit. So this shade is pigmented. I find that the darker the shade, the more pigmented it is when it comes to this brand. And so I'm just going to use a little bit and deepen out my crease, my lower lash line, and my outer V. Then I'm going to take my finger and go into the shade Eternal. This shade is like liquid gold. Now this is just a straight up metallic. There is no glitter in this shade at all. And I think Blake, and I think that actually worked with the look in the long run. So I'm happy with that. Then I'm going to take an Eddie Funkhauser pencil brush and I am going to go into the shade Starry Sky. And this is going to be my inner corner highlight. Now I don't really bring this very much up on the lid, but I do just a little bit. I like to blend that way, and then just the very front of my lower lash line as well. So that's that when it comes to the eye look, but I do want to show you guys the liner because I think I have figured out kind of the trick with these liners. So I am using today the 006, which is the more sage green, and without cleaning up my waterline, this is what it looks like. So the trick, right, is to warm it up on your back of your hand and then apply it. Now you see how you can actually see color. Otherwise, it's just so, at room temperature, it's just so hard that it's just not going to apply on your waterline. But if you just warm it up on the back of your hand, just a little bit, it will then apply. So now I'm going to put on my mascara, my upper lash line, because I did tight line with a black liner from LA Girl. And I'm also going to put on lashes, and then I'll come back to show you guys the finished look. Okay guys, so this is the finished look. And just like yesterday, I'm still really enjoying this palette and the color scheme. But I do want to just do one more look. We're going to do another colorful look. Maybe I'll use the two mattes that I haven't, which is a little bit more ethereal, and see if they kind of come off a little bit more pastel or what tomorrow. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys in the second look. Let's get into look number 3. Hey guys, so I'm really excited to show you guys this third and final look. And I already got my eyes primed, so let's just dive right on in. First, I'm going to take a BK Beauty 202 brush and I am going to go into Soft Cloud. This is going to be fluffed in my crease and transition area. Eventually, this particular shade will be covered up, but for right now, I'm just going to do what I did before. As I'm sure you saw, there was quite a bit of fallout, and you know, that's not the best but not the worst. What I'm going to do now is go into the Sigma detail blending brush, which is the E27, and I am going to dip in the shade Dream. So this is pretty much going to be the main shade that you guys can see in my crease and my outer V and transition and all of that eventually, but we're just going to start off slow and then build from there. Okay, so my crease and transition are all done. Very simple situation there today. And then for my first lid shade brush, I'm actually going to go into Hallucinations, which is the only true kind of purple shade. There is Meteor, but I found that this was like a really pretty, like ethereal shade in itself. So I'm just going to pack her on with my finger very quickly. Then for my inner lid and my inner corner, I'm actually going to go into the shade Mercury, and I'm just going to use another finger to put that on as well. I'm going to put on my normal liner, which is my black LA Girl. I'm going to put on mascara, and I think I am going to throw some lashes on. Originally, I wasn't going to, but why not? So let me do all of that really quickly. Okay, guys, so while my lash glue is drying, I figured I'd go ahead and do my cheeks for you guys with you all, just so that you guys can see. And one of my favorite brushes is actually this one. This is a brush that I bought through Mercari, and this is the MAC 113 brush. I really like it because I feel like it really grips like very compact formulas, and this is the main brush that I use with my NARS brush in my project pan. So I figured let's try picking up these blushes with it. I am going to use both blushes today. I don't really feel as though I have a preference or a favorite so far, and so I figured why not just blend them both together on my cheeks and see what we can get with another brush, because it might just be the brush that I'm using why I'm not loving the formula. So I'll say off bat, I feel like there's a lot more pigment coming off with this brush, and I'm loving both of these shades a whole heck of a lot more. So much more just from applying them with this MAC brush. You see how it brings my face to life a lot more. And that other brush, although it was nice, it just didn't pick up enough product in my opinion. So this is my preferred style of brush. I really like this teardrop type highlighter brush. And like I said, I'm going to use Warm Sunshine today with this, just to see if this will work with like my normal brushes. Even though I obviously have their brush, I want to see if it'll work with my brushes that I like. Now let me stop yammering. Let me put these lashes on, show you guys the finished look, and then we'll talk about overall thoughts so far with this collection. Alrighty guys, so this is the finished look. Alrighty guys, so like I said, this is the finished look, and I'm really loving this look. I think overall for me, look number 2 was really the banger, but I really enjoyed all of the looks that I was able to create with this collection. Now I do want to just do a quick roundup, but do remember that I always will come back to give you guys full thoughts on all of these products in a month or so. For me, it generally takes me longer just because this is not my full-time job, and I also don't wear makeup every day, but do know that I will bring you guys a roundup of this collection along with some other things eventually. As for the mirror, it's really been helpful, like not only just for this tutorial, but also for applying my lashes. I've been able to just get closer to a mirror, and because obviously this is a handheld one, I can decide where the mirror is when I'm putting my lashes on. I will just point out that I already do have like a scuff on it, and I don't quite know how it got there, so that's slightly disappointing, but it's also a mirror. Like, you know, I didn't expect it to be like clearly without scratches and never get scratches. And because of the price of that mirror, I can't expect it to have like whatever varnishes or whatever that were like superbly protected from getting the scratches, if that makes sense. I think that's a thing that they do. I don't really know, but either way, I'm liking the mirror for what it is, and I will be probably making a couple of tweaks just to make sure that it lasts longer, and then also that it can cover up the back so it's just not as cumbersome for my daily use. Okay, and then so as for the liners, I think they are okay. I know a couple of people have compared them to ColourPop liners, and I will say I disagree in the sense that ColourPop liners, from the ones that I do have, I don't have to warm them up on the back of my hand for them to apply opaquely on my waterline. They either do or they don't. There's really no in between when it comes to ColourPop liners. These, I find, if you do not warm them up on the back of your hand, you will not get that opacity. But once you do like 1 or 2 swatches on the back of your hand, then it applies really nicely, no problem at all. So although I figured out kind of the hack on doing it, it is slightly annoying, but you know, they weren't that expensive, and these are, at least for me, 2 unique shades for my eyeliner collection, so I am very happy about that in the grand scheme of things. But just like I said, if you try to get these, or if you do pick them up, please try to warm them up on the back of your hand, and hopefully they will work the way they have worked for me. Yeah, that's been the hack, at least for the 2 that I got, so take that as you will. Really quickly, the brush that I got, I don't know if this was something I purchased or if they just threw it in because of the time that I purchased. I have absolutely no idea how I came to own this, but I do have it. And what I will say is this: I don't particularly love the blush brush side because I find that, at least for their own formula, it does not pick up enough for me. For me, I am of course a darker complexion, so I need quite a bit of pigment to really adhere to my cheeks to get it to show, and this gave me a very light wash. Now, if you are somebody who is my complexion or lighter and likes a light wash, this brush could be helpful. So it just kind of depends on what you're looking at. And then as for the highlighter brush, it's a very unique shape, but I actually did like it, although I feel like people have also used this type of shape for like a paddle brush to apply their foundation and stuff. So I mean, use these brushes and applications in general and tools to however it works for you. For me, these worked as a blush and highlighter brush. It just would not be my go-to favorite, if that makes any sense at all. Okay, so let's start off with the highlighters. I picked up 2 shades, as I said, I'm sure countless times during this video. I picked up Warm Sunshine, which is what I have on my face today, and I believe in the first tutorial. And then I picked up Rose Sky, which I had in the second tutorial. Now, what I will say is this: I find that these highlighters both work beautifully on my complexion. I don't find that there's any ashiness at all, which I really appreciate, because I am learning, you know, in my old age, that sometimes, even though I love the shade, I really have to blend it in and buff it into my skin tone because I am a darker skin tone. I don't find that I have to do that with either of these. I do, like I said, have Warm Sunshine on today. So in the event that you want to see, and it's this lighter of the 2, this is the rose one. So either way, I really like these highlighters, and I would say if you are somebody of my complexion or deeper and you want something from their cheek range that is like a surefire, it's going to work for you, I would say pick up the highlighters. Honestly, I am considering picking up more highlighters. Do I need more highlighters? No, but I am just intrigued. I really like this formula, and they're just really pretty. They're so pretty, and I would just love to have them in my collection. So we'll see. I probably wait maybe for a sale or something, because like, who can afford to buy a lot of makeup full price right now? But that's not why we're here. Anyways, I really would say out of the 2 cheek products, this is a surefire thing that is going to work. It's just a matter of if the actual shade is something that you would enjoy. So I would say shop around, look at swatches. By now, I'm sure there are quite a variety of videos out there with people swatching the shades on their complexion. And yeah, I would just say shop around to see which shade you think will work for you, and try and find somebody who is of your complexion. I always try my best to have my closest foundation matches down below. It's easier for anybody who is trying to see if I am a shade twin or not. As for the blushes, I think that the blushes are a little bit harder to say, you know, is this something that you can easily blind buy and know that you're gonna love it? So with their brush, I did not enjoy these blushes at all. I felt like it took way too much to apply, and although it was cute, it wasn't cute enough for the price. That said, with the brush that I used today, I find that they just applied a lot better on my complexion, and I'm enjoying them a lot better. So if you're wondering, the darker of the two, which is this one over here, is Peach Gleam, and this one is Orange Sunny. So I got one of each formula. Warm Sunny, I believe, no, Peach Gleam was the one that had the sheen, and Warm Sunny is the matte. So for me, I definitely do prefer a more sheeny kind of satin finish blush, but just the pigmentation, it didn't seem there. So I definitely need to kind of test these out a lot more with my own personal brushes to see, you know, if I like them by themselves. But to combine together on my cheeks today, I feel like this is the best blush application I have been able to get with these two blushes. So I would say I would caution you on just kind of blind buying these unless you are somebody lighter of my complexion, and or you know that you have a surefire blush brush that will just pick up any type of product. Because I will say this blush formula is quite compact packed. The embossing on it, I feel like for them to really get that to really stick with this formula, it had to be pressed quite hard. So in case you need like a comparison, I would say these are quite hardly pressed, very similar to like a NARS blush, where NARS is quite pressed hard. So you know, you have to really like dig in there to get the formula, to get the formulation on your skin. I would say it is very similar, like it's pressing hardness. I hope that makes sense. But I'm enjoying the two shades that I got. I don't know if I'm going to go back to get any more of the blushes. I honestly don't think any of the other blushes will work on my skin tone, but I am happy with the two that I picked up. But would I recommend them for you guys to pick up? I genuinely don't know. Last but certainly not least, the eyeshadow palette. Now this eyeshadow palette definitely is aligned with the previous formulas that I've had. I think I purchased now 4 or 5 palettes from Oden's Eye, and I've enjoyed every last one. All of their formulations, although I think earlier on the formulation was a wee bit sketchy. I wouldn't say sketchy, it just was not as perfected as it is now. That's what I want to say. As for this formula, I haven't tried every last shade within these 3 looks, but the ones that I have tried, I've really enjoyed. I will caution you though that Dream and Soft Cloud have a lot more kick up, and so if you do not actually tap off your brush before you apply it to your eye, you will get fallout. You saw that I kind of forgot multiple times to do that in today's tutorial, so I just wiped it off. It was really nice because I had already set my full base quite heavily. So it was not very hard for me to just take my powder brush and just to wipe it off. But do know that additionally, these deeper shades, let's see, Nebula, Galaxy, and Black Hole are all very, very dark, very, very pigmented. So I would say take those in with a lighter hand. Don't really dig your brush in there or you're going to get a lot of pigment and it's going to be hard to blend it out if you don't want that to be the only and main crease shade or outer V shade. Overall though, I think they have some unique shades, like these 4 mattes are very unique. I feel like for my collection, like I feel like I really don't have some shades in my collection that would dupe it out. As for the shimmers, I would say they're more metallic than shimmers. They're beautiful. Are they revolutionary? Maybe not, but I really enjoy this formula, both shimmer and matte, and I am extremely happy with this formula. So if I had to kind of steer you guys towards like 2 aspects of this collection that I think would be perfect for you to buy and not feel as though you're not getting really, really good quality, or even quality that would work regardless of your skin tone or your preferences, I really would say the palette if you're interested, and I would really say any of the highlighters if you're interested. Those 2 categories I think are the kind of the best aspects of this collection. The other 3 or 4 that I have, I think are kind of hit and miss depending on your personality and whether, you know, whatever. But those two that I highlighted just now, I really think are the best. I hope that this was a detailed enough overview on this collection. I'm really happy that I got the items that I did from the Solmane 2 collection, and I cannot wait to see more from Oden's Eye. I would really love to see a more satiny formula like this, but with more variety in the shades. I would really love to see that, and more deep shades. You know, there are quite a few light shades. I feel like I would love to see some deeper shades and more of an overall satin. I feel like that top coat kind of went and gone, and it's not as overall satin as I would love. But that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I have some really bomb videos planned this week. If you did not get the chance, I would say head over to my community post. I have all of the videos that will be uploading detailed there, and I'm really excited. I still haven't gotten the haul slabs as of right now, but I'm still crossing my fingers that I will get it in enough time to record it and edit and upload for you all. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.